What's up lads, Brandon here with another video to make you 1% better. It appears to me you guys loved the video on the top 7 lessons I learned from 134 books. So here's 7 more unconventional lessons I've learned from the now 179 books I've read, many of which you don't learn at school. The first lesson is future blindness. Humans suck at making predictions about the future. I recall hearing a story by Tony Robbins of a multi-million-dollar man who achieved all his goals, but committed suicide, presumably because he was unfulfilled. We may dream of being a pop star singer, for example. How awesome would it be, being rich and surrounded by fans? But is it really how we think it is? According to Daniel Gilbert, author of Stumbling on Happiness, the single best way to combat our future blindness is to ask someone who lives and breathes a position we desire to be in what it's like. For example, if you want to know what it's like to be a YouTube travel vlogger, ask them what it's really like, or watch a video of them discussing their experience. Future blindness is the reason I talked to digital nomads and traveled to Thailand last year to try out the digital nomad lifestyle for 2 months. I didn't want to risk expending my time and resources towards building a life based on a false preconception. Number 2, the 1% rule. Small differences in performance over time can lead to drastically huge gains. You may link this with the concept of compound interest, but it doesn't just apply to money. Think about it. If you improve in one area of your life, 1% a day, then in 1 year, you'll be 38 times better than you were at the beginning of the year. How you quantify 1% is questionable, but it's the concept that matters. This is why I value building habits as part of my morning routine, and it's also why this channel is called 1% Better. Moving on to a controversial one. University is a scam. And I say this at the risk of being misunderstood and offending many people. This topic deserves a video of its own. I've been influenced by Ask Gary Vee and Choose Yourself by James Altucher. So most people at the age of 18 have no clue what to do with their life. Absolutely no clue. But parental and societal norms put them in this box that says, fork out a ridiculous ton of cash that you may not even have, and then spend 4 years of your precious time at university, even though most people hate it. Also, you could get a piece of paper that apparently shows you're competent enough to succeed in the world. Absolute BS. Absolute BS. This model is extremely outdated. We are living in the year 2017. Opportunities are ripe. Sure, a university degree is required for those in the medical or engineering industries, for example. But degrees like arts or business? I mean what? Let's take a business. You can borrow business books by the greatest businessmen of all time for free from your library right now. The most valuable information in the world is a click away. Gary Vee is teaching priceless business principles and tactics that are current for the world here in 2017, all for free. Leading experts in all industries from all around the world are delivering cost-effective options for education. Check out udemy.com, for example. 10 times cheaper, and you can go through courses at your own pace. You can even read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill for free, online, which contains wisdom from some of the world's greatest businessmen of all time. Being paid to play video games is now a thing too. YouTubers doing what they're passionate about are making a living by doing what they love. No piece of paper required. I believe the biggest setbacks are most parents' misunderstanding of the power of the internet and the lack of belief that you can do it. By utilizing the power of the internet, you aren't shoved into an outdated, drastically overpriced system that has to be tailored to everyone. My university didn't allow the curriculum to be sped up for faster learners because they had to tailor to the slow learners too. It would cost universities more money to create a separate curriculum. Isn't that interesting? Time and time again, I see young university students mulling over how poor they are, how much they hate it, and then end up as the cashier on the corner store. This is why I'm a huge believer in Jim Rohn's infamous saying, formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune. Lesson 4. I love this one. You wouldn't worry about what others think of you until you realize how seldom they do. This is the single biggest reason I don't give a f*** what people think of me. It's why I comfortably walk around my neighborhood in bare feet in a rainbow poncho. It's why I've publicly shared stories of me jacking off to unicorn porn. It's why I risk offending people at the cost of potentially changing lives for the better. The feeling of not giving a f*** what others think is the most pure, most freeing feeling in the world. Lesson 5. Mentorship is the fast track to success. There's no single book I attribute this lesson to, as it's covered in most of the success literature. But it's so goddamn true. Tai Lopez has said something like 200 books is equivalent to one mentor. Now I don't know how you can quantify that, but the concept remains. One person who knows their craft and is willing to take you under their wing is absolutely priceless. Mark Zuckerberg's mentor was Bill Gates. Billionaire Warren Buffett's was Benjamin Graham, and Tony Robbins was Jim Rohn. I found my first mentor by first creating something awesome, this channel, and then reaching out to someone that was one step ahead of me and offering to help them for free. There are 1,000,001 ways to do it. Once you decide you want a mentor, you will find a way to reach them. Lesson 6. Direct your efforts. I attribute this lesson to the writings of Seneca because he said, "Let all your efforts be directed to something. Let it keep that end in view." There have been long periods in my life where I've sat in my room feeling lifeless with no direction, scrolling through that Facebook feed, looking for that immediate gratification, day in, day out. I'm not perfect, and I still do things like that, but I now direct my focus into sharing unconventional ideas that make a positive difference, and this channel is the vehicle in which I direct those efforts. Having something, anything, is arguably better than mindlessly going about life. Just pick something and do it. If you don't like it, you can always change it. Otherwise, you might just go insane. The final one is a controversial one. Pseudoscience can be beneficial. Abstaining from porn and masturbation is a practice growing in popularity despite having weak scientific backing. So naturally, there's opposition to the idea, like any idea that lacks solid science. But here's why I believe you don't need the over-idolized scientific stamp of approval before you can start benefiting from questionable practices. Here's Andy the adventurer. Andy sniffs a sunflower every day. He says it gives him energy, and he's done so for years. And here's Cecil the scientist. Cecil discourages Andy from sniffing a sunflower because it has no scientific merit, and he claims it is probably just a placebo. Now Cecil is probably right, but Andy gives no and he just keeps sniffing the sunflowers. So why do you think this is? Simple. Andy doesn't give a hoot if it's a placebo or not. The point is, it's benefiting him. He admits there may be a downside that science hasn't yet revealed, but he figures he may as well reap the huge benefits now instead of waiting for 40 years for the science to come into fruition. Look at meditation. For years, much of society believed meditation was a woo-woo practice most suited to hippies, gypsies, and religious people. But now science has backed it up, and there are tons of celebrities and CEOs that are benefiting from the practice, such as Jennifer Aniston, Russell Brand, and thousands more. I find it intriguing how the so-called gypsies were benefiting from meditation for decades, even centuries ago. They didn't need the scientific stamp of approval. Now this doesn't mean make any rash decisions. Do weigh the potential benefits and risks for yourself. Thank you for listening. Your attention means the world to me. Before you go, I want to address an important comment by Richard P. 765DYXRYTRUE. Not every lesson will have resonated with you. These are just the lessons that have made the biggest impact on my own life. This video is not a substitute for reading awesome books. I have deep respect for the authors of the books I've read. Thank you to my animator Christian for animating this video, and I hope this video has made you 1% better.